We're in.
I think we're in.
We're in.
Are we? Huh? Hello?
Let's
Hi.
How does this work? How does this work?
Hello?
Anyone?
Hello, Twitch. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is the long-awaited episode 1 of Arc 4 of Better Than Heroes. I'm Rachel Weeks, and I play Klik, the now level 10 Tohr-Kreen fighter.
Wow. I'm Andrew Ovredahl. I play the human bard / warlock, Flute, a.K.A. the Windrider.
I'm Jordan Dahl, and I play the Moonboy, a freaking level 10 Moonboy. Can you believe it? Level 10, we're back. Holy moly.
I'm Aaron Urist, and I play K.A.I. Hammerstein, the Artificer.
And that's Harlan Kelly.
Oh,
They play everybody else.
I was like, yeah, it's true.
Harlan Kelly.
Hey, we took a long break.
There, Harlan Kelly.
We took a big break. There's gonna be some dust in the gears.
We're all
I was
filled
waiting
with
for him to
holiday
say something else,
gravies.
and I don't know why. Yeah. I'm Harlan Kelly. I'm the dungeon master of this game, and I play everybody else.
Harlan updated their OS over break, and
I have Windows
Having
11,
some
and I'm just
problems.
glitching my way through this. Yeah.
Harlan forgot they were the DM. It happens. It happens.
Wait, who am I playing? Oh, no.
Everybody? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hi, everybody. As you can see, we're very excited to be back recording on Monday nights. We're going to play some 5e Spelljammer-inspired Dungeons & Dragons tonight. Our show is live soundtracked by the wonderful Jason Wardell. It is also directed by Case Drury of Tiger Moon Productions.
Moon.
And it is brought to you by our wonderful patrons and subscribers. We got a few new patrons, subs and resubs over the break, and we just wanted to say a very special thank you to those of you who were thinking of us over the holidays. That's incredibly sweet, and we're so happy to have you. Our patrons and subscribers literally make this show possible. They pay for our recording software, they pay Case, they pay Jason, and they make sure that we can put on the best damn show for you every Monday. So if you love the show and you want to see it grow and improve, please consider supporting the show financially. We appreciate it so much. You can do that either by subscribing to the channel or by becoming a patron. Or by buying some sweet Better Than Heroes merch. We've got a Teespring store that's full of t-shirts and
The reveal.
repping the
Yeah.
brand.
Let's go there.
Oh,
Wait, that's
brand.
not a shirt. That's on his
Makes an
skin. That's a
amazing
tattoo.
undershirt.
tattoo.
Yeah, full
Wow.
vest tattoo.
Show us your
Went full
heroes.
Yakuza down here with the BTH. It's kind of a bummer on the back. It's solid black. I really went for the t-shirt, and I regret it.
Yeah.
It was a waste of money, but
Should have put something on the back. Should have put literally anything.
I miss you guys.
Just the idea of a guy getting a black t-shirt tattooed on him is really funny to me.
amazingly
Now,
stupid.
just like nothing on the
I
front,
spent
just
30
incredibly
hours
expensive,
in agony,
painful.
and all I got was this
It goes
lousy
with
t-shirt.
everything.
Amazing.
Anyway, you can pick up some non-tattoo merchandise. There's mugs and stickers
Regular.
and all sorts of fun stuff
Removable.
on there. Check it out. If that's not possible for you right now, we totally understand. You can support the show by telling your friends about us. It's Arc 4, so it's the perfect time to get your friends in here, bully them into watching the stream. We're fun. So if there's anybody that you've been meaning to tell about Better Than Heroes, now is the perfect time. Do it now, quick! Get on
Tell
your
them.
phones. We need 5 callers by 7:20. All right.
They're gonna cut our funding.
We appreciate every little bit of support you can give the show. For all of these 4 arcs, it's been a pleasure to play D&D with you. And now we're gonna play some D&D.
There's no recap today.
No.
Not this week. I'm in charge.
Sorry.
There's no
No.
recap because we're
It's-
just beginning.
Yes.
Play that intro. And
All right,
we'll,
play that intro.
Roll that beautiful intro.
I'll be on the other
footage.
side. might be telling you all right now. Okay, I am. I can see it. Here we go. So we find our crew close to the center of the planet Garden. For the past 33 days, they have been helping to rebuild and reshape the city of Judorian. The hive-like buildings and earthen walls have been rebuilt, and the remnants of many Spelljammer ships that were smashed in the battle have been cleared away. And we find our crew in this city, tucked in the back of a large temple that they have been in before, that they fought in before, they almost died in before. But now it's kind of cozy. You are packed in the back, and the whole room is full. There's a lot of the mantis-like citizens of Judorian that are filling all of the. I wanted to say pews. I didn't have that in my notes, but I guess there are pews in here now.
Bug church.
And yes, there's just full of all of these mantis-like citizens, and there's been a gathering like this for the last 3 weeks here every day to discuss the future of the Judorian and who will lead it. At the front of the room, there is an older Kreen named Anti-Rabakosh at the front, who the crowd now refers to as Moderator Rabakosh, as she has taken on the role of ensuring that these discussions are productive and respectful. And though the conversations have been spirited, they've started to get a bit detailed for you all, and you can hear Anti-Rabakosh discussing now how it would be resolved if 2 Judorian citizens are celebrating too loudly, and each believe that the other should be quieter so that their celebrations can be heard throughout the city. That's like the current agenda point that they are litigating. Gluck, your Kreen friend and ally, is with you, the 4 of you that are kind of huddled in the back here, and he taps you on the shoulder, Klik, and gestures in a manner that says, that's kind of like indicating, like, please, can we get out of here? Like, and so the 4 of you know, like, you come to these meetings because your presence in town and your presence at these meetings kind of like bolsters the morale a little bit. You know, like, you all like came here to save Judorian, to help Judorian go back to and grow past what it was, and so it's, you know, it's encouraging to the people of Judorian that you all come to these things and believe in these things, but you all know that you don't really need to be here. So the group steps out into the warm bioluminescence that shines down as daylight here in this underground city of Judorian. And yeah, you all are kind of just out in the town square with your Kreen friend Gluck as well. And I'll leave it to you to kind of describe what you all are doing, what's on the agenda for you all, now that you have the day in front of you in a peaceful Judorian.
So we fought a war here 33 days ago, right?
Yep.
And okay.
I'll
so
say.
it's
Great
been about a month.
observation, Windrider.
I'm just catching up.
I
Anyone who
agree.
might be new.
I know.
I just
Sometimes I forget it. It's been so peaceful.
also, I think I already know the answer to this, obviously, but we were part of a crew of a ship called the Dinger. It was a golden sailing ship that went missing during that war. We have not heard hide nor hair
Space
for them, I
ferret.
assume.
No, it has been a kind of like an underlying tension amongst all of you all, because there has been, you know, we talked about it a little bit in between, but you all have tried to magically detect the Dinger. You tried to contact them. You tried to ask around, and there is no concrete information about the location of your ship that you all have been traveling with since the beginning of you all adventuring together. You know, you have your friends and your crewmates on that ship that they dropped you down into this fight to help save the city, and yeah, you all have since you all jumped out of the ship down into the city to fight the war. You all have not seen it, and you don't know whether that means it's been captured or if it needed to run deep into another dimension in order to protect itself. You don't know, but there's been no sign of it.
So after 33 days of peace and organizing and building and talking to elders, and Klik is antsy to get on the road. The silence between the crew in the Dinger grows longer and scarier. And I think she's at the point where she's like, all right, we need to get on the road. They're fine. They're which is a complicated emotion for sure, because she's been like, this is her home. This is where she was raised, and it was in turmoil before this. But now that everything seems to be settling back down into the daily bureaucracy of Judorian, she realizes just how much she doesn't fit here anymore.
Yeah, and there's like even as you all are standing in the square, there's a Kreen, a few these like a Mantis family, these like a big tall burly mom and like this like very like scrawny like slender like Kreen father with like a huge clutch, because they're just kind of like overseeing, like it looks like a classroom of like young Kreen, and they're like, yeah, that, like they're giving a respectful distance, but like, yes, that's Klik. See, you can leave and then come back and do great things. And just because one person tells you that you're bad, even if they're in a position of authority, you have to follow your heart. You just like hear them like explaining this to you, and then when they see you looking at them, they kind of like, they're like, but they don't want to bother you or intrude at all, so they just kind of like keep going.
Hello. Hello.
Klik turns to Gluck and says, are you gonna be okay here without us?
I mean, he's like making all these noises, but with their, I'm making them with my human lips, and they're all these like buggy, like clicky whines and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I'll just tell it. I'm happy to stay here and explain to people why, like, you needed to leave. Like why the hero of the place, the people we all look up to the most, needed to move on, and that's just how it works. And I'm accepting of that, and everybody here is too.
And just to refresh everyone's memory, Gluck fell like an Empire State Building amount into a pit and died.
Yeah,
and
I
was
think
then
Very, very far.
I think for that very reason. As he says that, Moonboy comes up and he goes, "Hey man, hey, they've got a hero right here, bro. It's you.
He's like Kreen Jesus, basically.
You're like Kreen Jesus, basically.
He looks
You
down and
came
he
back.
goes,
You came back. I hear them out there. They're like Pitborn. It's the Pit Walker. All kinds of cool pit nicknames.
Smells like Kreen Jesus.
Smells like
Hey,
Kreen
there it
Jesus, one
is.
of them said, and we all laughed, but then later we were like,
And we
yeah.
were like, why? Why did that make us laugh? It's
What
not
would
a
that
reference
smell
to
like?
anything that we could know about.
But it just kind of fell off the tongue.
It was good.
yeah, I mean, he has been noticeably changed since you all came back. Like he's sheepish about you saying, he's sheepish. Sorry.
Do they have sheep?
She's heepish.
No, it's
Do they have sheep, or do they have some sort of giant dew beetle?
it's not a beetle. It's like a living root. It's like a root that has like a big tail.
I was picturing like a big woolly caterpillar man,
Yeah.
that
Those
they have to
guys-
shave.
It's
That's
kind of
a
like
root.
the chicken pig like dynamic of farming. Yeah.
So he's being woolly rootish about this whole scenario.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
welcome to Spelljammer, where we just talk about the different cattle on every single planet of this
Yeah.
universe.
I kind of like the idea of a root grub that they shave down for weird fibers.
That's just why I like playing in this universe. I'm not.
I mean,
kidding. Like,
so
yeah.
does Moonboy, right? Like, I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything Moonboy would like more on this
That's
planet
just-
than a
that's just
woolly
his-
root grub.
It's just his personal hygiene routine.
The root grub.
Got to shave down the grub each morning.
Your friend Gluck, the ally here, who did die and was like fully dead until K.A.I was able to, in like the graveyard of the ancestors of Judorian, connect to that magic and pull him back to life. He is sheepish about you saying that he is here, because he's had these moments where he is like very disconnected from everything that's happening and kind of says nonsensical things. And he's kind of like aware of it at this point, but he seems to have just he has seen something that he can't unsee, basically.
Interesting.
I would say, like, kind of like, and he's never really articulated it to you.
Okay,
But,
so Gluck hasn't been really sharing this with anyone?
No, I mean he hasn't dived into it, but he has definitely been like distant, and there have been moments where he's kind of like talking about things where he's just it's very like he does it now. He does it now too, where he goes. He's like, yeah, you know, every piece of any Kreen is a piece of it's like a statue put together, like a basket woven together, and we are all the thing that we need to be because we are all a piece of the basket. And right now, you are the piece of the basket that is being pulled out and starting another basket that is being weaved, and together we are all just part of any mud that forms together at the bottom of a river. And he just kind of like is going, and then he realizes he's doing the thing again and calms down.
Nice.
Looks like
I agree.
you're
Deep breath.
my basket, bro. It's fine. Like, I don't need a new basket. I got a basket. I'm just. We got stuff to do. You know.
She's right.
He looks
Click
like
is visibly worried, but she's trying not to look too flapped, I think. And she'll speak telepathically to Windrider and just check in like she's checked in every day for the past 33 days. And he just telepathically say, any word today? From the
And I
dinger.
can talk back to you telepathically.
No, but
Oh.
you could yes no it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just kind of shake my head and look around. Do we know what our companions have been up to?
Yeah, I mean,
these last
unless
33
anyone
days?
is specific. I mean, we kind of like talked about stuff in between, so anything that we talked about in between, like, you would know. But unless someone is like actively, I would say, like keeping their work a secret, I think that everyone would
I
just
feel
know.
like Kai would have a hard time keeping this a secret. I'll turn to Kai and I'll ask, is the ship ready? Can we
It's
leave?
nearly ready to fly. Everything's pretty much put together. It's been quite a project. Yeah, Kai's been working on building a new Spelljammer
Whoa.
so that we can get out there and
Heck yeah.
adventure and look for the dinger.
Because we had a backup helm, right?
There's
There's
we had
many
one,
helms.
but there's also like 20 helms in Jadorian
Far
now
out.
after the battle.
Yeah, which is like I would say a thing that is happening besides you all doing this is it is clear that Jadori, like, you know, I would love to hear a little bit about like what you imagine this like workshop of yours that is, you know, this harbor room, like the beginning of Jurassic Park 2, for those who be knowing, where you're like walking into the space where you're making things.
Thank you.
There's also it's also clear that Jadorian is going to have an armada now, because a thing that does not like the most difficult piece to craft of a Spelljammer ship is the Spelljammer helm, but they have a bunch of those because there were a lot of Meridian Tract and Arcane ships here, and they were destroyed, and so now they just have all these helms. So kind of with like a little bit of your guidance, they're able to begin, like they're at very, very early stages. There's nothing even for you to even like poke over right now, as they're focusing on helping you build your cruise ship, but it's clear that they're setting up to like have a Jadorian armada.
Pretty cool.
Sick. What kind of ships do Kreen build? If you don't know what a Kreen is, it's a 4-armed insectoid humanoid.
You don't know right now because there isn't like a tradition of Kreen having like armadas are very, very rare. You know, like people having like ships that are culturally from a place is pretty rare, and so this is the like you know, this is the new car. This is the like I don't want to compare it to a tech startup. I'm not going to, but it's like clear that it's like the birth of a new thing that is happening.
Sure.
It's what was the name of the P guy? The guy who gave us all
Oh,
the
that
battle
guy.
key.
The little,
B-boy. What is his name? I have
A
no.
little inventor.
General Catholic.
He looks like a cricket.
agriculture.
Catholic Ram Thak
do I have it written down? I might.
I didn't write it
Anyway,
down.
it's he'd make a great Jeff Bezos.
Piss boy. What's the piss boy's name?
How could we forget the name of our
We're
little
being
piss
politely
boy?
asked to leave Jadorian at this
Yeah.
Piss boy. Wait, bring us the piss boy. No, it's they will build new ships and which will doubtless be made of loogies of space
Yeah.
roach loogies.
Totally.
So I just want to bring us back to this scene too
Space
here, where we're inside of like
Space
the town square, and
mantids.
all four of you all are there, like with Gluck, and Gluck is kind of like trying to maintain this conversation with Klik, and there's this telepathic conversation between Flute and Klik. But are you all retiring to a specific place together, or are you kind of like going off to do your thing? Like, what
think
does
we're
your
gonna-
life look like in Jadorian right now?
Are we staying on this ship that Kaya's building?
Oh, definitely not, because not right
No.
now at
Yeah,
least,
it's not
because
ready
it's not
yet.
like I mean
Okay.
it can be like ready during this session, but it's something that is like actively being. You would have like a lot of the living domiciles like in and around, especially like the inner square, are these like basically apartment buildings that go up. They have like a central core, and they have all these nodes that go throughout them that are connected by stairs. It kind of looks like a bundle of grapes, so you all would have like a just temporary living arrangement in one close to this temple area.
Okay.
But yeah,
Not so long ago, we made a bargain with a green dragon named Slow Death, who seemed like bad news, and
Related.
we promised to take her to see a very powerful, I guess, wizard named Florial. Anyway, she flew off. She helped us in this battle, and she flew off. Has she been around or has been sighted anywhere around Jadorian?
absolutely not. She has not bothered you all at all. She hasn't shown up in and around Jadorian. She has gone back to her lair that is inside of this root system of a planet, and she has not caused any problems.
Interesting. All right.
Well,
Interesting.
we can't see that problem, so it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So, I suppose, I mean, Kai, how many, how long do you think until we can, shove off in search of the Dingo with this new ship?
It should be any time. It's nearly ready to fly, assuming all of my calculations are correct and nothing goes horribly wrong.
Then we best
Should be ready soon.
gather our things.
We'll be ready as soon as the ship is, of course. Gluck, that means our days are drawing short. I hope you feel prepared. It seems like Moderator Rabakosh is settled into her position well, so I can't imagine things will be disorganized, but this is a whole new Jadorian.
Yeah.
I think everything that is growing here is good, and I'm thankful that you have showed me, all of you have showed me, the difference between living in a world where you think you are trying to attach yourself to everything that comes along, and living in a world where you're letting yourself be part of everything that comes along. And I am doing that now. And it kind of like relaxes and like it feels good. It feels good. I think that I'm in the right place, and I think that I think only good things are going to grow here. He says, and like holds his green hand up, and an invitation of a thumbs up is like the best he can do to get out a coherent sentence.
Three-fingered thumbs up is haunting.
Has anyone looked at his brain? I guess that should have been me who did that.
Yeah,
I've
did you
looked at
look
my
at his
brain.
brain?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gluck says, I've looked at my brain.
I could if he wanted me to.
No, not like that. Just like, make sure that it's not. I'm sure he's fine.
Well, I mean,
fine.
we don't have to leave it at that. I mean, we could
Right.
ask. We could ask him. We could just say, "Hey, Gluck, let me get a peek."
I mean, you know, he's been through a lot. I don't.
Gluck, since you've returned from the pit realm, how are things?
I think that once you die, life looks different. But I am okay with that because I would not want to know what I would not want to not know what I know now.
Right. I mean, he was reanimated by a psychic spark originating from the deepest resonance of his ancestors' combined energy. So, you know, there's bound to be some side effects.
He raises his hand.
Yes? Gluck,
Um,
please.
If I could share something with you before, I'm really okay. I think that like there is I watched a world fly by when I was gone. Where Klik didn't have the fire within her to roast me back into following my heart. You know, I could have been a little shithead, and I'm not. And if that was a gift you all gave to me. I mean, Klik especially, but I assume that everybody is one person. But a thing, if I could give something back to you that I found on the other, that I did not have before, that I could give you now, that I'm certain about, is that there is a time to die. I was brought back with love, and we saw what happens when you're brought back for opportunity. And he kind of like is referencing the big carapaces of armor that were these like undead vessels that fought you before. But
As
he's
he's
like,
saying, go ahead.
yeah, no, you go. Say your
As
thing.
he's saying these things in Flute's one remaining eye, there's like this just black sort of swirl around it as he's talking about coming back to life for the opportunity.
Yeah. He's like, and I was brought back out of love. I can feel it. But there's a time when things should be over. And I realize that sounds ominous. I can hear it, but I just am saying that because I feel it and I saw it, and I don't know what that means, but I feel like I should tell you.
I'm glad it
Word.
wasn't your time, friend. You're too young to be so creepy.
He goes, time is different in every place you go to. And he kind of walks off, and he's like, you've already said goodbye to me in my heart. I don't need to know that I will see you again, because I will. And then he kind of like nods and walks off. And this kind of like, you know him as like literally a green crane, like a very young being. And I would say he seems older, but he seems very comfortable. He seems very like sure.
They grow up so fast. Well, I think Klik will bustle off and try and make sure that all of the loose ends are tied up as best as she can. Touch base with moderator Rabakosh and
She's still romantic to me.
yeah, but only in private. And she's working. She's a moderator.
Sure.
And just make sure the meeting went okay, and she's gonna walk by where all the helms are stored and touch base with. The reason I was asking about the little piss cricket was I imagine.
We should.
He
Let's
literally-
not tell anybody
Yeah.
where this comes from.
He
We
literally
talked about
goes
it
by.
before.
Yeah.
What's his
He
name?
goes by PC now because he is proud of like contributing to the fight.
He
And
did.
one of his good friends, Ram, another cricket, another Kreen on this planet, talked him out of going by Piss because he was like super stoked about being like the one who provided the piss cauldrons in the fight that like turned the tide of things. And he was
No.
he's
That
so
means something
proud
else
of
in
it.
common. That means something else.
Yeah.
Don't.
It-
No. Oh,
it's-
God. You made how many T-shirts? Oh, my God. Piss Princess? What does that even mean?
So he goes by PC now just to like as a like if you know thing, but also like kind of like meeting like taking
This
good advice from his buddy.
PC
you know?
culture.
Yeah, it's ruining
stands
everything.
These
for-
piss
Yeah.
crickets
Piss
in Washington.
NPC now stands for New Piss Cricket. If you bring an NPC into the game, you're bringing a new Piss
Well,
Cricket.
We're back.
The reason I asked about him is
The
because
game
I
is
imagine he
serious.
has something to do with the design of this armada,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I
yeah,
wanna
absolutely.
drop by and see how things are coming along and say thank you and make sure he has everything he needs and isn't building something horrifying and gross.
You
it'll
could.
be
He's
gross.
standing on top of like like two ladders that have been tied together to form a triangle and have a board at the top of them, and he's like yelling things throughout the room. He's like, "Yeah, if you could, yeah, move that over there, and then move that over there, and then we're good, right? You need to attach the claw. No, no, don't tie it on. You need to like actually nail it on." He's saying like from atop this pedestal, and Kai, you've worked with him before, like. You've vouched him. You've like vetted him enough to know that he knows what he's talking about, even though he's not experienced. He's like this very young,
He's
like
got good
cricket-looking
ideas, but he thinks that piss is the solution to everything. And that's just not how science works. It's not all piss all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
the
no,
episode title.
It's like when I invented the piss cauldron. He's like yelling throughout the room. It's like you just have to like know what to do with what you have, which like kind of makes sense, but also
Which is a lot of piss.
Oh,
I don't
Case,
even know
God
if that's
damn
what
it.
we
That's
have.
so good. Case put a piss
Yes.
cauldron up on screen.
Within seconds. God.
All right.
Gosh.
Awful.
Yeah, but he looks down at you. He's like, Klik, Kai, everybody, move. What's up? What's good? He's like, it's coming along great. It's like it's going well. I'm thinking that we build one that looks like a cauldron, and but I got vetoed on that, and I listened to the people constructing the ships, and maybe not everybody wants a cauldron, so he's like, we're working on a ship with antennas right now, and we've also got a ship with a Gitka, kind of like with the he's like kind of like you can see like a crescent ship and a ship that's more of like a V shape, and he's like, that's what I'm working on right now. Well, I'm listening to people as we go through, but what do you all think?
It's inspired PC. It'll be for the first Kreen armada. That's something to be proud of.
I think that's very cool. A ship with a Githka is an incredible idea, because then that means that if there's another one, they could have sort of a spaceship sword fight in space. And I'm on
That would
board
be
with
incredible.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm working on, like kind of like a ship versus ship, but like we are able to fight each other, and it looks really fucking cool.
Yeah,
I think that's my job as an
That's
inventor,
dope.
right? So,
That's dope as hell. That's
It's like the
a
piss
ship.
cauldron. Like it looks
Right.
really cool.
I gotta tell you, I think this is even a step up from the piss cauldron.
Well, I don't know
You
if
know,
that's possible, but you're
battling-
I understand that you're flattering me.
Battling mech spaceships, I think this might be the one that puts you on the map. Piss cricket.
We'll go
Yeah,
over
like
the
winks
plans.
at you and you call him his first nickname. He's like, boy, I'm glad I know you all. Without you all,
too.
I wouldn't be the piss cricket that I am.
What are
I
these
would-
big boxes of t-shirts in the corner?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
He's like, do you want one? Do you want one of the?
Oh, hell yeah.
We're good.
Piss cricket t-shirts. This one says Piss Princess. What does that even mean?
I just
Amazing.
Oh
wanted
man,
to
God
check
damn it.
in. You're productive as always.
He's just standing in an empty room on a ladder by a
Yeah.
giant cauldron.
No, I mean, yeah, that's funny. But you do see a bunch of like Kreen that are like, as much as they are kind of rolling his eyes, and every time he gets even close to you see like a bunch of green as he brings up the piss cauldron to you all, like look over at you and just be like, God damn it! But
Thinking,
you also
yeah,
can
this is
see the
gonna
shape
get
of like 4 or 5 ships taking form. So.
cool.
Nice.
I really like the idea of a ship that is like a javelin that you like
Yeah.
ram into.
I'm going to
another
sort
ship.
of give him the note of, I think,
Exactly.
look
Andrew.
to the Kreen artifice of the past for inspiration for the future, and I'm going to pick up and hand him a tchotchka.
Sick.
Oh,
Whoa.
that's a great idea. Holy moly.
Think about
Yeah,
this.
so he takes this like
shape.
bladed shuriken thing and he's like, yes. Kind of nods and he says, the 1-2, slash in the throat. And he kind of like is like thinking about it up there and he's like, the piss to the cauldron. And he like nods and he looks at you and goes, truly, I am grateful for how much you have taught me, Kai. I hope to someday be as ingenuitive of an inventor as you are.
Well, thank you. I hope that for you too.
Tell him everything he taught you, Kai.
Yeah.
That is
You
a
taught
great
me the
goal
value
for
of-
you.
Piss.
He says, will you do me a favor? If I know that you all are going to have to leave Dorian, even though your time here has been wonderful and so inspiring to our community. When you go out into the world and you do more heroic things, will you make sure that people associate me with the piss cauldron?
I don't think that's
Absolutely.
going to be a problem.
You
I
want
think
us. You want it to
definitely-
get around.
It's a bit,
Yeah.
bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, I mean, like when you use it and when you're telling the tale, will you just make sure and say that me?
I don't think
It'll-
anyone will
I
be
am the
hogging
piss
the
cauldron.
glory for it. No.
It'll come out.
I just want that to be associated with my legacy, you know, because it's
Yeah,
my
it will.
100%.
It will.
100%
Yeah,
you.
For sure
Yeah.
will be.
I think it will be.
Just
and
you.
I dare say there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yes, even after you build these great ships, they'll say, "Oh, the piss
Oh,
cauldron
the
guy."
the kid with the piss.
Yes. You
The
can't
beginnings
hold a
of an
good piss
armada.
cauldron down. That's
That's
right.
right.
You know. Yeah.
Okay, well, let us leave
Well,
this reeking place.
Speaking of
Yeah.
ships, I need to practice flying mine, so. See you later,
Okay,
PC.
bye. Yeah. See you on
yes, there's
the other side. Yeah.
something back in my quarters I really should check on as well.
Thank
How's
you.
your
he
ship
says.
coming, Windrider?
It's I think it's ready. I think the only thing it needs is me to be a little better at flying it.
Gluck looks over at you and he's like, "When am I gonna I get to fly it one time before you leave, right?"
You can come with me right now.
All right.
I want to
do it.
see. Let's go check it out.
He says, "I want to feel it."
All right. Yeah, we'll go over to the yards or whatever. Sorry, did I cut you off, Jordan?
Well, Moonboy is kind of like, he's kind of torn because it really does seem like there's something that he needs to go check on, but he's like, "No, we got to go see the Windrider mobile. Come on, I'll go with."
Yeah, we'll go over to the shipyards where, not far from, I would imagine, PC is working on the Armada, and Kai's project is probably there, maybe under various tarps and stuff. And next to that is a smaller craft. It looks kind of like a pod that's like tapered on both ends, and it's it kind of looks like it's made from black glass, but it's actually made from Kreen resin. Mixed with ash, and it has the visage of like a bat on the front of it. And in these past 33 days,
incredible.
Flute had received help from this presence, which is called the Writer, which has been with him since he briefly died. And so I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of these details, Harlan, but Flute sort of handed over control of the construction of the ship to this presence called the Rider, and it was sort of being made while Flute was kind of like sleeping and stuff and not really present, like in his body. And now it is complete. It is it has like a little open cockpit, and it has unique. It has a helm that faces forward and a helm that faces backwards, kind of like a little like fighter cockpit. And it's when you get closer to it, you can see that it has kind of lines of ice kind of crisscrossing it all over. And I'll kind of motion for Gluck to hop in the back of the pod there, and I'll climb up after him. And as I get in, I have a special belt buckle that K.A.I made me.
Clyde.
Clyde.
Clyde Hammerstein.
The break was too long. I don't know anyone's name. The robot
Yeah,
Clyde.
Clyde. Dune Boy.
Yeah.
Dune Boy and Clyde.
Long ago, K.A.I, not that long ago, but long ago in terms of how many game sessions it took place, K.A.I made Flute a special belt buckle that flips around. One side says Flute, and one side says the Windrider. And as I climb into the ship, the belt buckle flips around and says Windrider, and my sole remaining eye turns black as I am taken over by this presence, the Rider. And I sit down into the helm as the Rider presence connects to it, and from the sides of the pod, this ice starts to form, and it just elongates and forms these large bat wings made of ice. As the eyes of the bat in the front, this sort of like cold blue fire emanates out. It kind of like lifts above the ground, and there's this like ratcheting sound as like a small cannon protrudes from the bat's mouth that K.A.I built in there, and it kind of like hovers up a little bit, and then we take off and we fly around. Gluck and I.
Damn.
Wow.
You all see, yeah. You as like the ship takes off and like up and around, you see this like small, like minor helm just like powering this ship that you all would like. It's been communicated to you. It can't like go through terminal speed, but it can fly around. You all see Gluck just like with the same icy energy that is coming off, just kind of like almost takes over his eyes for a second. Just like kind of is the look in his eyes as he's holding on to the edge, and he's when you like fly it around and come back down and kind of whatever a Spelljammer equivalent of screeching to a halt is.
Yeah, I'm coming way too hot. Like,
Yeah.
and like a bunch of dirt and dust comes up.
It's the best part of the Star Wars prequels is some of the sound effects in there, and it's one of those good ones. Where it's like, yeah, and shout out to whoever did the sound design for that. So the ship like comes down, and
Right
you
here.
just see Gluck get out, and he's like, that feels powerful. And he nods and is like, Windrider got his motorcycle, and he kind of like, it doesn't quite, you're not quite sure what that means even, except for Moonboy. Moonboy knows exactly what that means. And he kind of just kind of like walks away slowly after that, and he says, I love you, see you soon. And Gluck kind of just like goes off into the city at that point. But yeah, so you, Windrider, have this
K.A.I
Windrider motorcycle.
K.A.I is looking at this awesome ship like if you looked in your kid's notebook and found a bunch of really disturbing drawings. Just like mommy and daddy with blood everywhere. Has anyone else noticed that Windrider's awesome ship looks super evil?
I'm gonna
Ship-like.
hop out and kind of inspect it as the ice wings. When I disconnect from the helm, you see the ice wings sort of recede and just disappear back into the sides of the ship. And I'm gonna take out my dagger, and I'm gonna carve a name into the back of the ship in the resin, the Kreen resin. I'm sort of like carving a name back there and christening my ship Stygia's Sight.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who's Stygia?
I don't know. I just thought it sounded cool, and in all honesty, a while back when I was with the widowers. There was a fabled ship in their fleet known as the God's Sight. It was the terror of the wild space, but went missing. No one knew how or where, but it was just a legendary ship, and I don't know. The name just popped into my head.
Sure. Okay.
Congratulations, Windrider. This
Yes,
is
yes,
I
Mazel
think
tov.
you've done
haunting.
it again. Windrider, just when I think you can't get any cooler, you go and make a freaking flaming batwing motorcycle.
Yes,
Swims
very,
through space.
very heavy
just-
metal.
Literally,
very
just
heavy
as you say that, Moonboy, like you're like saying that to him, and this like big form just like tackles you, and like bowls you
It's
over
the
as you all are
coolest
saying it.
thing
And, yeah. And like all of you like think maybe Moonboy is threatened for a second, but you all have had this experience happen like a couple of times, but it's still there's just like that moment for as this like huge like this like creature just like bowls Moonboy over. And if Jordan, if you want to give a little description of like this scene here, you absolutely can.
Oh yeah, is this his Moonboy's burden? Okay,
Yep.
this is this would be
The Moonatros
sun?
around your neck, yeah.
the Moonatros around my neck. This would be
Moon's
so. Some of
son.
you would remember in the last episode, the Moonboy was speaking with his patron, the Moon, and in this space between something came back with him. Something that seemed pretty wicked at the time, and it was kind of a big, dark lizard. And I think now that you see it, you realize that 33 days ago it had just hatched, and now it is a fully grown whatever the hell it is. And what it is it's kind of like the first time that he summoned that flying alligator, but this one seems much more kind of ground-based. It's much darker, it's mottled and shadowy. It looks itself kind of evil. Instead of wings, it has kind of like a membrane from here to its feet, and it looks. Imagine a gigantic crested gecko, but it's black with little kind of cracks of very, very, very dark red running through it, and it seems to be somewhat. It seems to be friendly towards Moonboy at this point. They are not.
Yeah, it's the moment where like you can't tell if dogs are like fighting or
Exactly.
playing. Where like it's like growling at you, like and it's like has this like deep guttural sound that like goes
Yes.
quickly into like a like
Yes.
shriek at you. And but you all have seen this scene a couple of times where it like pounces on him like a cat, like hunting something that is
It
just
does-
a toy. But
Yes.
yeah, so he doesn't hurt you, but
I
it
would
still
say the
seems
relationship. I would say the relationship at this point is a big dog that he can't control quite yet. that-
Turner and Hooch.
That is it's not trying to
Classic.
fight him, but it has stopped saying outwardly wicked things, which they've noted is something that it does when it feels threatened. It has kind of a parrot voice, and it can seem to snipe your deepest weakness, and it will say it to you. It's as a weird defense mechanism, and we've
Yeah, you've
determined
heard it-
that
you-
this.
You've heard it say to the Moonboy, "Tiny child who no one loves," like just in
Yes,
this voice
yeah.
that is like it does not speak in. It just seems like come from nowhere, and
Rude.
sometimes it's just like
Yeah.
failure with no power,
Yeah.
lost daddy, and
Yeah,
like
the
it
moon
just like
is dead.
says, yeah,
These types of things.
yeah.
But we've decided that this is if the first one was a Waxigator, this is a Waynegator, and we have determined that his name is Wayne.
Oh,
Yeah, the
I'm
Moonboy
Wayne.
keeps calling him Wayne, and so you would
Yeah.
just know that Wayne is the creature that just like tackled him and is just kind
Yeah,
of
I
like
think
nipping at
he's
his
just
hands in
kind
a
of
way that like the
under
guy
him
who
now. And he's just like, and he kind of throws him off. He's like, okay, well, it looks like Wayne got out. I was going to go, he's probably eaten every book in my room. Do you have book breath? Do you have book breath?
it just like
Who's got
vomits
book
up
breath?
like a whole book. Yeah.
Well, that was... Okay, well, that's fine.
those are my books.
Well, they are. You do have the most delicious books, Kai. I'm sorry.
Yes, they are
because
cookbooks.
You keep them in the kitchen, man. They absorb all those funky spices.
This like hunching creature turns and looks at you and cocks its head in the way dogs do when they're confused at you, Kai, and goes, "I don't care about your feelings," in a voice that you don't recognize.
Well, you have behavioral problems.
Don't get into. You can't engage him, Kai. You know you can't engage him.
It kind of like pukes on your shoes that you're not like just like pukes on your feet.
Joke's on you, I have no shoes.
Those are my feet.
I can't tell if this is an improvement from yesterday or if it's worse, but
No, he's fine. He's better. Watch this. Wayne.
It looks at you and goes, "Argh."
See? He doesn't outright attack me when I say his name anymore.
progress is progress, I suppose.
Right?
Do we have to bring him?
I don't know. I've been trying to get him back into the hat for a while. We could try again.
Literally as you say that, you feel on top of your head this like rumbling, and everybody but Moonboy, you see a few like paws, maybe like clawed paws stick out of the top of Moonboy's hat, like reaching out like eyebrows down from the hat. And you can see like his hat is like kind of like rumbling, and you can feel it atop your head, Moonboy.
Anybody else got hat gas?
Oh God!
And there's a popping.
Are you putting
noise
lizards in your hat?
No, I swear I haven't taken.
You have to tell us if you're hiding eggs in your hat.
I'm not. Look, and he takes the hat off.
When you do, there is a this like gecko-like creature. Like the other one is more of a lizard, and this one has like much webbier hands and wide eyes, and like is clearly a different being than the other one. But it like pops out and is like very small and like looks around and has like this like large tail that goes up into a stinger, and it's like bah 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 bah. It's like looking around confused, and then goes and crawls under the Waynegator.
What is happening with your hat, Moonboy?
I don't know. I really don't.
Sick? Do we need to take it to
The hat?
tailor?
To a haberdasher?
Haberdasher? It appears to be a habitat.
A hat.
A habitat?
Hat.
Is
bit.
Yes.
Does this got lizards in it? Alright.
The other creature is like this very like kind of like rocky, almost like lava-y creature, but this one is much more like has like this like white moon glow to it. It almost looks like one of those fish that lives in a cave. You know what I'm saying? That's just like purely white and has these like purplish eyes, and it's just kind of like whoa. And
How
it's, like,
many
hiding
moon
under the
lizards
Waynegator.
do you have?
I don't know. If I could stop it, I would stop it.
Is this one new?
Yeah, I've never seen this one before. Hello, moon lizards. Okay, both of you. Get back in the hat. And I'm going to point the hat at them.
I realize we have not rolled a d20 this session. Roll an intimidation check.
I forgot that's part of this game.
Me too.
4.
The Waynegator like growls at you, and the little new like albino-ish creature underneath it is just like blah, blah, like making these like, weird noises out from underneath, and all of a sudden it seems like the Waynegator is like protective of it, even though like they're like these like much different creatures.
Well, maybe we could go. Maybe we could like let them go. Maybe we could find like a sort of habitat here and just
release them?
release
I
them.
don't think hat lizards are native to Judorian. I'm not interested in
Invasive species.
invasive species.
Well, I
It
mean,
was like
I've got news for
investigative
you.
species.
I've got news for you because I've been growing moon plants all over the place and teaching the Kreen how to grow them, and it's helping out. Klik.
Yeah.
This is This is a green planet. You can't just install new life here. This is you'll change all of
There might be an invasive
garden.
species.
You'll break everything. What?
Well, what do you think I should do?
How
with
many
it
lizards have you left around this planet?
then? A couple.
Have you asked the moon what's going on?
Every time I put my face in the hat to ask the moon, I get another lizard in the mug.
Lizard in the mug.
Like as you say this,
One
you
time
see
it
this
was
like
a monkey thing. It was terrifying.
as you see this, there's this like tiny like starfish creature that just like crawls up on Moonboy's shoulder that has like a little glowing orb at the very top that's like a bulb on its head, and it just is like wah wah like on his
I don't know
shoulder, and
what
you're like
that
seeing a
is.
new third creature.
Moonboy,
Seems
you
like
have
it.
to go to the magic doctor. Do we
We
know?
got to.
Do we know of a wizard? The magical item shop?
I guess that's me, kind of.
Yeah,
Do you want me to look at
Mr.
that?
Magical Item Shop.
We do know. That's him.
Okay, that might be what we need to do here. Kai, I've never. Could I have a moment alone with Kai?
As long as you take these lizards, God.
We're working on this.
This is one of them.
Yes. Yes. Kai,
Yes, Moonboy.
no,
Talk to me, buddy.
I've never let anybody look into the hat
I know.
because there's a part of me that thinks that maybe there's nothing in there. Maybe it's all just in my head, but I figure if there's lizards and stuff coming out, then the odds of that is pretty slim, right?
That logic tracks.
Tangible evidence. So I would like to ask you to look into that. And if you see the moon, that'll be weird.
Yeah.
Try to have a
I wonder
conversation
what will happen.
and see how that goes. Maybe we could look into it at the same time.
If you like.
No, you go first. Go ahead and take it. But do you have like a pot or something I could put on my head in the meantime?
I'm
My
sure
head
we can
feels-
source that for you.
Naked without the hat.
Oh yeah, I mean, you absolutely just have like a pot on you at all times, Kai. That's just like a canonical thing. You always have a pot on you.
Yeah, hang on. Got to lay it real quick. Yeah, I'll find a pot for Moonboy and prepare to look at this hat.
All right, I will hand over the hat.
Okay, cool. With that, we're going to take a break, and we will see what happens when Kai looks into Moonboy's hat when we come back here.
Oh boy.
So hey, thanks everybody. I'm so happy to be back. This fucking rocks. Thanks for hanging out with you all. If you all have any questions about the game, the story, or anything, please feel free to sound off in the chat. There's a lot of very knowledgeable people about this game in there. Please follow us on here if you are into it. But also, please check out we have lots of episodes on our YouTube as well. Please check that out and follow us on there if you're not. It's super helpful. If you can't be a Patreon subscriber, you don't have like $5 a month to throw our way to support the channel. A huge way to support us is just following us on YouTube, on any socials. So thanks a bunch.
Just
But we're
tell
gonna take
your
a
friends.
yeah, truly. Tell your friends you're having a good time. Come back. We're here every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Mountain time. But we're going to take a quick 5-minute break that we always take halfway through the session. We'll be back with more Better Than Heroes, back with more
We're gonna
Spelljammer
drink.
5e.
We're gonna pee.
We're going to drink,
Pee.
pee, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. We'll see you in
All
just
right, piss crickets.
We are the pissinest bunch.
The show isn't all piss. If you're new to it, I promise.
This is a
It's
more
not-
piss-heavy
lot.
episode than usual.
It's a lot of piss, but not usually
The
this much.
The longer the stream goes on, the less we can claim that. Get us out of your case. we're back. We're going. Second half of the session. Here we go. So, Moonboy, yeah, you pull your big blue starry hat off of your head that you look into, and you speak with the moon from the old world that you now know that you used to be a part of. There's some sort of connection to that. And you look into this for some sort of divination, look into the future, some attunement to your magic that fills you. And instead of you looking into it, you hand it over to K.A.I, and I'll kind of like leave you all in that moment.
Okay. Here you go. I can't watch. And I take the pot from him and put it on my head. I do a fast switch with the hat.
So yeah, K.A.I, are you you have the hat in your hand? Are you putting your face down into it?
Yeah, I will sort of tentatively look it over and kind of look into it from afar, and it just looks like a hat, and then look inside it.
And it's as soon as it kind of fully crests your face, as soon as a seal is made over from the hat across your face, you feel this magical jerk as if you're thrown forward, and you can see this starry swirl happen super fast, where it just like pulls you forward, but all of a sudden it stops very quickly, kind of like going in and out of terminal speed, where there's this blur around you, and then you're seamlessly in one place, and in front of you is just a moon, this like big white, whitish blue swirling piece, and
Are you seeing what's happening on Twitch?
I can't
Aaron,
see it.
Aaron, if you would like to have the moon greet K.A.I, you absolutely can.
Hello? Moonboy? You're not Moonboy.
And also, like K.A.I, you specifically like you see this white blue swirl for a second, and then you see a dull like orange layer come to it, where it's this like flare up of the moon. It's like white hot heat overcome it for a second, and like K.A.I would maybe feel. Actually, let's have K.A.I roll a. Let's have K.A.I roll a d20 here to do an insight check on the moon.
Insight on the moon.
Aaron, if you could do an insight check on yourself. This is the second time this campaign we've had somebody do an insight check on themselves.
Got it.
For those of you who might be confused as to what's happening, Aaron does both the voice of the moon and K.A.I, so
Yeah.
in this case, he has to field both characters.
Insight check is a 17.
Yeah. This is a kind of like, as Aaron would know, a animal with its hair bristled. Like the moon is wary of anyone but the Moonboy being here, and you can feel a hint of danger inside of this like calm voice that comes back to you.
Hello. The moon. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am here on behalf of the Moonboy because, well, every time he's tried to talk to you recently, lizards keep coming out of his hat, and we don't know what to do, and we were wondering if they were your lizards, and maybe if you could help, or if you had any insight into what's happening, or if there's anything we can do for you.
Aaron, could you also have the moon respond shyly and hesitantly? That would be great.
Maybe. How do I know that you're really friends with the Moonboy? Well, he...
The Moonboy is outside of this right now, just like, what's happening? Is she asking about me? Is the moon in there? Are you talking to the moon? Can you hear me?
He loves pickles, and he loves his friends, and he certainly loves you, which is why the whole lizard situation is so troubling.
Man, this is great. Usually I'm the one who talks to myself on this stream. So if you could have the moon respond in a way that is pressing for more details, that would be great. And it is like maybe exceedingly cautious.
That does sound like the Moonboy. But...
It's amazing.
Sorry, this is very confusing.
There's so many people in here.
Yes. How can I be sure that I can trust you, friend of Moonboy?
Aaron, this is your response here. Yeah.
Right, yes, I'm role-playing with myself. Surely if anyone who meant the Moonboy any harm managed to get into his hat, they would do more than just ask for advice about lizards, right? Right?
All right,
I'm here in good faith.
you can have Kai roll for persuasion here now.
All right.
Can I outside give him guidance?
No,
Persuasion.
he's cut off.
13.
All right, I got a 17.
Flash of genius. No, I'm supposed to wait until before I know. Supposed to use it before I know the results.
You can do it because that was my failure. That was my failure to not say you failed the check. So,
All right. Flash of genius.
Cool. Yeah, you can feel the moon. Kai can feel the moon be like kind of like shake its head and start to turn itself back around. You can feel the world like swirling away from you for a second, and this like orange flare happens again, and you get a little bit worried.
Right.
But like as you worry, there's just kind of like this as you're like thinking and processing.
Wait, no, don't go. It's serial ethic. Does that mean anything to you?
Oh, the moon flips right back around and looks at you, and it is bright orange now. It is like a bright orange blood moon, and it looks at you and goes, if Aaron, if you could give us a how do you know that name, that would be great. Give us a little bit of angry
Yes. Who? Hang on. Have to find Angry Moon. Who spoke the name of a former friend of the moon? God, that's a scary.
Angry Moon discovered.
What does Kai say to that?
Moonboy told me that was his name once, and he forgot, but then he remembered, and he needs your help, the moon, and all we're getting from you is lizards.
Could you have the moon ask Kai if Moonboy needs his help or Cyril Ethic needs his help?
Does the Moonboy send you, or serial ethic? The Moonboy, I think.
Roll persuasion with advantage.
$18.
Have the moon say he's willing to talk about the lizards with Moonboy. Tomorrow.
I will talk with the Moonboy about these lizards, but not today. I'm tired. No, go
Here,
away.
you're doing the thing that I do often, which is this is
Yeah.
you.
I'm
you,
the DM
you.
now.
Yeah.
Listening to the story.
You like
Yes.
forget that it's you, that you're the
Oh
person
my
responding.
Now leave me. I've much to think about.
I want to nap and eat moon bombs.
Yes. Bring me moon pies. Moons over my hammy.
Does Kai leave
Related
respectfully, or is
foods.
Kai kind of like pressing on here?
Tomorrow, he's really troubled, the moon. He could really use your help.
I think outside, Moonboy's
alright.
currently been tackled by the other animals again. And he's like, running by in
Yeah.
the background.
Yeah, you see a new lizard that you haven't seen before that kind of like
what
looks
is
like
that?
an alligator's mouth with legs. And it's
No!
just kind of like. Wah, wah, wah,
Why are
wah,
the legs
wah.
hairy?
And in a roll, I would like to have Kai roll an intimidation check with this last little bit. Even though Kai is not meaning to be intimidating, this is what is happening here with the moon.
Sure. I do not pretend to know the ways of the moon. That is a dirty 20.
Have the moon respond sheepishly that it can't help the Moonboy today, but it will do its best. It has to go and talk to a few people about the lizards, but it will help. Like it's kind of like you call them out,
Sure.
and it's like I can't help you right now, but I'm
Look.
going to do my best.
Look, man. We're working on the lizards thing, okay? Just buy me a little time, okay? The moon boy can't know
These dudes
that the
don't
moon
fuck around,
gets
okay?
afraid. Yes.
These dudes chop off pinkies, alright?
Please, tell the moon boy I'll help them tomorrow.
I mean, I think that is like the way, like that's exactly right. Is like Kai experiences that. Kai experiences like you were the only other living being that you know who has talked to the moon, and everything that has been communicated to you from Moonboy to Kai about the moon has told you that it is some sort of like omnipotent, like shows you the future being, and when you even like push back a little bit against it, it is clearly like being like, hey, look, man, can you not tell the moon I can't help you right now, and I need you to like be cool about this. And so Kai is experiencing like this disconnect that, you know, Moonboy said, I'm not sure if it's real, but it's definitely real. But Kai is experiencing the disconnect happen of like, it is maybe not an omnipotent being.
Right. My baby mama's lawyer's really on my back, okay? I've got a lot going on. I've got court in the morning. All right, the moon. I'll tell him. We're cool, right? All right. Okay. Thank you.
See, it's hard. It's harder than it looks here to talk to yourself, right? You think it's just me.
I
you
never
two
said
talking.
it was easy. All right.
Also, we should remember that it is canon that you're definitely kicking over a couple of empty tall boy cans on your way out.
Yeah, definitely.
The moon
Yeah.
starts drinking
And
after
maybe
that.
the moon. Maybe clean up a little before you see the moon boy, huh? Smells like ranch Doritos in here.
God.
Does the moon have a response to that?
No. I didn't actually say that to the moon. I'm a coward.
Oh, man.
I'm afraid of my own moon.
This is
boy.
awesome. This is
That
so
was
good.
incredible, man. That was
job,
some
Aaron.
piece of role playing. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, as you pull yourself out of the hat, you're about to like have this conversation with Moonboy, and you hear a horn being blown on the wall that is like you know, maybe you are the person in your friend group who's very good at taking a blade of grass and like blowing on it, and making a wild ass
Sure.
sound. That's what the warning signs of the walls of Jadorian, what their horns sound like. It's kind of like
Whoa.
reedy vibration that is very loud. And you can see one of like the Kreen up on the western wall, which is where you all attacked from originally. They're like blowing the horn, and there's like like a wave from a few people, and they're like gesturing to outside of the wall. So before, like truly, like the moment the hat comes off, like before you even have a chance to, before you even have a chance to communicate about this, like there's just like this alarm being rung. Like Moonboy, maybe even like think it's in your pot for a second as the pot is on your head.
Sure.
What's going
And are
on?
you all are you all kind of like joining the wall crew here? Like, are you like moving toward it quickly? Or are you letting other people handle it? What is the reaction?
Have we heard
of the
this
spirit?
sound before?
No, I mean like everything has been pretty quiet from. I mean you've talked about this. If there are any other threats around here, like it is pretty standard practice. Like you especially, Klik, would know that this is like practice that is from before as well. But this is kind of like the first. Sounding the alarm. That is not like this is not a drill sort of.
I think immediately upon
Oh yeah,
hearing
Klik
that,
moves.
Yeah. I'll kind of shake Kai out of the hat and be like, Kai, something's happening. I need my hat.
He's like drunkenly wearing it over his eye.
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh,
how's the
right.
moon?
Here.
What
Here
did
you
the
go.
moon say?
The moon is
going to
willing. The moon said to try again tomorrow. All right.
That sounds
She'll
like
be
the
there.
moon. It is afternoon after all. Okay, there's a crazy sound happening. We better go find the others.
All right.
So as you all
As soon
kind
as
of like,
the horn sound, Klik motored and was headed toward the wall.
Okay.
yeah, there's
Do we see Klik go by?
oh yeah, I mean Klik. I mean you have a huge jump speed, so I assume this is some Spider-Man shit for you over to the wall.
Oh
Just
yeah,
ooh,
it's gross.
ooh, yeah.
I'll
Klik is the first
helicopter.
one there, even though Moonboy can fly and K.A.I and Flute can move very.
Great.
I can
appropriately.
also fly
follow.
now.
Yeah, we'll follow Klik as soon as we see her.
I'm just running my 30 feet movement speed.
Thing. Oh crap! I forgot to put some money in the meter. Gotta run back.
I mean, there's a moment in town too where like this alarm goes off, and kind of like you all are known for being the heroes of Jadorian, and so like Klik very adeptly just like does these like huge Kreen leaps like with side boost to them across to like get up to the wall, and you see Moonboy like with his moon boots illuminated because they cast the light cantrip and you can't turn that off if you fly. Just a reminder. And like light up the area and fly over, and K.A.I as well now kind of like in his form just fly up and across here and
Monsters
Flute.
following me on the ground.
Yeah, like-
huffing and puffing.
and you join them last on the wall. Like everyone's kind of like watching you run through the crowd. Yeah.
You have to climb the stairs. It's a whole thing.
The ice
Also,
feels
I'm not
like
sure.
a bit of a
I'm not sure the
for
Kreen
this.
wall has stairs. Honestly, we're kind of a jumpy people.
Just climbing up these massive blocks. Oh God! God!
Yeah, there's like a point where somebody like points the way to you. That's like that's go that way. You know. That's,
Yeah.
Thanks. Right, thank you. All right.
And you all see a very small yellow ship, kind of like moving like a wounded fly across this space that you all had to cross, because you know that Jadorian is built up on a little hill. It's built to be able to be this space that if any enemies approach it, there's a very like clear field around it before the canyons of Jadorian. Not caverns, canyons. And you see coming out of a similar space that you all came through when you left Slow Death, the Green Dragon's lair, and you passed through it, and then found a space, and then approached Dorian. You see, from a similar path, this like very small yellow ship just kind of like woof, woof, kind of like dipping as it falls, like a car that is not quite able to cross the finish line, sputtering its way over toward you all.
Does it look like the dinger?
You can roll a perception check.
I
and
want
see
to.
everybody
too.
else in this party.
Yeah, the Moonboy is going to see that, and he's going to kind of put one hand over his eye, and you hear the scream of a moon eagle, and he gets the eyes of an eagle to try to spot this ship.
K.A.I. Question: during the Battle of Jadorian, the dragon devastated much of Jadorian's kind of like siege defenses. Have those been rebuilt?
Half of them have, yes. Like the walls were kind of prioritized because the walls were literally crushed by the dragon at a few different points. But the weapons took a little bit more finesse, and so about half of them have. PC is looking over, making sure that they get fully restored, but they. So yeah, you have about half of them.
I rolled a 22.
I got a 2.
11.
Flute?
Oh, did you want me to roll too?
Yep.
I had a +8 on perception, and I had advantage. I'm
You
going
had the eyes of an
set
eagle.
my hair on fire.
That, time to go to your optics, Eagle. I got a 9.
Wow. Dude.
Never fails.
This is
Anytime
Rachel, congrats on fully turning
Thank
the
you.
tide of this story. No more
Jesus.
is it that
So we don't just
everybody else
attack
rolls.
the dinger?
Yeah. I would say, Kai, you got a 2, right?
I did.
Does that mean you rolled a natural 1?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I guess I got a 4.
Okay.
I have bonuses, but I rolled
That's
a 2.
Okay. So, Kai, you are very sure that this is the actual dinger.
It's the
And
dinger!
Flute in Moonboy, you know that it's not the dinger, it is a yellow ship. But
I didn't
Kai
think so.
saying it's the dinger kind of like makes you worry about Kai a little bit, maybe. But at least is like, you know, it's not the dinger, but it does look like the dinger, but it's not like if you knew the dinger at all, if you knew the ship that you lived on for a year, like a very long time, you would know.
But
it's
Kai
not the dinger.
says, and that makes me
think,
doubt. Maybe it is.
Kai needs lenses checked.
I think my eagle.
Oh, sorry, I
eyes
had
on
my
it.
eyes on
Shakes
backwards.
his hand.
I'm gonna take my ship up. Moonboy, you wanna come with?
Yes, cool. Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, wait for me at the ship.
Nice.
Yeah, can I run over to my ship?
Yeah, I definitely want to ride with.
Can I?
Yeah.
Do I?
Yes,
what do
but,
I say?
yes, but literally, yeah, exactly.
Give me a second.
Rachel's like, shut up, boys.
Don't
Okay.
get in a ship yet.
As like they have this conversation, you see them turning to run in the ship. You can tell that this is, as someone who's unfazed, an unwavering hand and has a little bit extra adrenaline push. It's like this is the first threat to your home since you have protected it. You see, this is a very small version of a sailing ship. It's kind of like a skimmer, just this like small sailboat that can maybe hold 10 people max. And you see some goblins hanging out the side. You like immediately clock it because it's kind of like over full in the same way that you filled the Nautiloid with all of these Kreen when you were attacking here. There's just like goblins hanging out the sides, and you clock this immediately because they have skulls over their head. They're like wearing them, like you clock them as skull goblins. And but it is a ship that is painted yellow, and you notice that the flag as well that is at the top has a pink line. It's like a white flag with a pink line across it and a circle in the middle of the line, if that makes sense. So it's like a circle with a line through it that is, and all of those lines are pink. Like the circle is pink, the line through it is pink.
On a white
and
field.
the ship, it looks broken. There are holes on the side of it. It seems like it's having a hard time making it over here, it does not seem like your warrior senses go up, and this is not like you could shoot this shit down so easy. It does not look like a threat, and it's just like sputtering toward the walls here. You can see like all like 10 or 20 skull goblins on it.
Hang on, that's not the dinger. It's half the size. It's full of goblins.
Right, not the dinger.
Flute would never fly the dinger. Flute, I'm sorry. A goat would never fly the dinger in that condition, especially not across fields that dangerous. They would
true.
never.
I think I was just hoping it was the dinger.
This is something new. This is skull goblins. Why would the skull goblins be coming?
They wouldn't. They hate the city. They wouldn't, unless they were in dire need. They would never come this close to the city.
They don't like to venture out of their lands. They like to stay home and play sports and eat ice cream. And
Collect charge keys.
yeah,
Legal
Yeah,
law.
I mean,
They're
like, these are,
venturing today.
like,
Pickle.
truly like allies that you have met on this, which is like this very unique form of like garden, like the planet you were on. These goblins that you've met before and are like very friendly, and that you all are allies with, but they are just like it's just like a ship of them hurtling toward the walls.
Windrider, I still think you should get
I'll signal to the defensemen on the wall that this is not a threat. Don't shoot for now. Like stay where you are, but don't shoot this rowboat full of goblins.
And I will say it's specifically notable to everybody but Klik that how aggressive this is we're 30 days out of a city changing war, and so people are on edge and the weapons have been replaced. Like you see all these there's like so many Kreen on the wall and so many Kreen like adjusting the weapons and being very ready to attack this ship. And as soon as Klik says something to one of the closest weapon folks, the whole tone changes on the wall. It is just like everybody points the weapons down. They're like, yeah, of course, like these people need help. And it's just a moment where like everybody else in the party can feel how much people in this city treat Klik as an authority. Because it is not a discussed thing, it is not a debated thing. It's just when she says that to people around her, all of the weapons drop, and it like you see the ship kind of like sputter up to the walls and makes it here.
And they land on the wall. What's
Yeah,
that
no,
mean?
so it comes up to the edge here, and it tries to, and you know there is like a specific dock. There's one of the wall there, like on the north, south, east, and west. There are docks for Spelljammer ships, and it tries to make it to the western dock, and it just kind of like falls and crashes before that, but it just like lands down. It doesn't destroy it. It just kind of like lands down in the dirt in and around, and from that you see like skull goblins like start to pile off and head over to the walls, like holding up spears and swords and looking suspiciously. But because they kind of like look at you, Klik, and because you noted before and you nod at them, like they open their doors and start to let these skull goblins in.
something
I'll
must be
jump-
wrong.
Yeah, I'll jump down to greet them. And,
I'll go with Klik. Yeah.
Was Flute able to
What-
collect his evil bike?
I didn't go. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Okay.
Jump.
Eject plan.
before Rachel. So I thought that Harlan had been
Okay, we're just
describing it for all
following
of this.
them,
So
then.
yeah,
We're
I'll
just
just
following
go with them.
Okay. Got it.
what happened? Why are you here?
As the skull goblins are like flooding in, one of them stops at you, and there's not just the skull goblins. There are these, like, you saw a bunch of the goblins first. That's what you noticed, but there are also these like ogres that are with them. These like giants that are with
The
like
Cyclopses.
Yeah.
the cyclopses that are with them, exactly. Yeah, so
They're
there's
guys.
like these pairings. You just see this like crowd of the civilization that you know from the palace of the skull goblin kings world just like start to flood in, and I want to have one of them says, like, stops and looks at you, that is like perked on a cyclops' shoulder, like looks up at you and goes, the mind flayers, they made it in, and it kind of
Oh,
we heard there was protection here, as they like push past you. And then I would like everybody to do one more perception check, and Klik, you can do yours with advantage.
Come on, Eagle Eyes.
I got a 19.
I got a 21.
22.
Crawl.
It's
Five.
the dinger.
Yeah. I mean, I think Kai, there's like a moment, and you can tell me, like, Kai both has this moment of like being wrong and also clocks that, where it's like you feel yourself be that hopeful that it is still actually the dinger when it takes you longer than it should to comprehend that it's not the dinger, and you're just
Yeah, I
feeling
think
that.
Kai starts to say. He doesn't say it again, but he like becomes excited, and everyone can see, and then everyone gets a little sad.
And everybody else.
I am too.
Everybody else here, you notice there are three I mean, it is primarily Cyclopses and Skull Goblins. Skull Cyclopses and Skull Goblins that get off the ship that are flooding in here. And you especially, like, Klik, are clocking that the Kreen are uncomfortable with this because this is a rival group that they know about, but when with a single nod from you, they're welcoming, they're inviting.
Yeah. I definitely jump down and signal to the Kreen to keep them corralled. I don't want them to just scatter inside for sure.
All right, in case they've been.
Yeah, muffled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fair. And there's
Yeah.
They're not resistant to that. They're kind of like
Yeah.
looking. They're trying to get inside the walls, but they're not trying to like push back. Like they'll take direction, so you can kind of like have them in
Yeah.
this group for sure.
Yeah.
Good
Smart.
note.
Safe D&D.
But you notice.
Let's not release
three-
mind flayers
We're here
into
to
a
win.
population we just freed.
Great call.
You notice three beings from this ship that are not Skull Goblins or Skull Cyclopses. One of them, the first one, who rolled the highest?
I got a 22.
22 is the Moonboy.
20. Okay, so you notice
I was 21.
someone who an ally, a friend of yours. You inside of this crowd, it parts ways for a second, and you see floating on the air, not touching the ground. Excuse me. This blue creature that you met on Mingabwe. This blue creature that you met on Mingabwe, whose name is Aldous the
Aldos,
Ortling.
the Wartling.
Yes.
My boy.
Who helped you take the Nautiloid at first, the kind of like backdoor friend of yours who made a
Right.
lot happen
If
for
you
you
will.
all when you met on. But it is this kind
And then
of
sending
like long
Mangabwe into a death spiral of war.
this like long-fingered, like floating with his legs crossed through the crowd, creature that you would recognize as is a friend of yours, an ally, and he is So Aldous the Ortling kind of like floats amongst the crowd, and he makes eye contact with you, Moonboy, and he just nods and kind of like floats over close to you and goes, "We have much to talk about." And 21, right, goes to Klik.
Yeah.
You also your warrior spider senses go off a little bit because you see an enemy, maybe someone who you're conflicted about, at least from a DM perspective. You can decide that, but as you see it, someone with green hair and green robes, with red eyes and pale skin, and you would clock this even before Flute does, that they are wearing a widower emblem. The emblem of the gang that Flute used to be a part of, that you have fought before, floats off of the ship as well. He doesn't float. He walks down it, and he looks bad. He looks beat up. He looks emaciated and just like weary. His green robes, when you saw him before, were very like regal,
fought
and
this guy
they
on the
are
Ark.
tattered. It seems like he has not changed clothes since you saw him last time on this like huge grandiose ship. And he walks off as well with his group, and he makes eye contact with you, Klik, and like looks down immediately, just like looks away. Like he helped you escape from a tense moment before. You know he has been your ally in the past, but he just kind of like looks down and looks away and like walks through the gates of Jadorian. And
What's
then
his name again?
We tricked him.
Felix.
Felix. Yeah, well, he helped us kill
Ventress.
Ventress, right?
He
No,
didn't
we'd
help you
already
kill
killed
No,
Ventress.
no, Ventress was already
When-
dead.
when
He
you
helped us
killed him,
escape.
He gave you
That's
the key
right,
to
that's
get
right.
out of there.
Yes.
Because
'Cause it was
his
already
whole thing
over,
was
yeah.
he told you
He wanted
it's
to be
better
the
to
new
like tell
Ventress.
this story as
Right.
as you are than to like
Right.
just get out of here and like let this story happen. So, and then, but you still rolled. What did you roll, Andrew?
19.
19. So you still rolled pretty well. And okay, so I'm just gonna give you the heads up. This is the time to throw the art on the board. And if you want, if any players don't have Roll20 open, now's the time to open it because this ship imitates the Dinger, right? Like it looks like the Dinger, and everybody is as people are pouring off of this ship into Jadorian. You've seen a couple of people who, like these two people who are not Skull Goblins, who are not Skull Cyclops, and there is one person kind of like who is now has like pulled himself up off the mast here and is like holding on and is like shouting directions. And it's like yes, perfect. We've landed the ship. Please go into the allies area. Everyone, now that I have rescued you, please walk on off of my ship and into the safe haven that I have brought you to. And Flute, you clock this person, and you almost don't know what is happening besides this because you see a fish folk who is piloting this ship, and he is wearing a
dressed like
shoulder
you.
pad jacket. He's wearing a hat that looks like Flute's hat.
God damn
He
it.
has a big sword in his hand that you see is glowing purple, and
Incredible.
he's giving directions on this ship. And the thing that you notice the most, Flute, is that he has. You notice two things the most.
at his
He has
belt
an eye
buckle.
patch on that is a purple, glowing gem that seems to have a working eye under it, but is an eye patch strapped across one of his eye to emulate your.
I have a gem in place of one of my eyes. Yep.
And then you see he has a big shining belt buckle that says Sinker on it. Sinkr. And he's giving directions. He's like, yes, now that I have saved you, now that I have led the way, me and my crew, let us all go into the city of Jadorian and be safe here, he says as he kind of walks out after all the Skull Goblins, all the Skull Cyclopses have walked off the ship, and everybody else has kind of like pulled past. He's like, yes,
Gosh.
good and great. And he is like, now that the ship is clear, I myself will walk into Jadorian.
I'm
Do I
so
recognize-
excited.
I recognize him now that I see him, this fish folk.
You don't need to roll. This is not you because I would imagine that.
Let me ask you: Is
Yeah.
it Lou, Brune, Darsa, Rosto, Tupa, Mula, Tor, Gorg, Dupa, Poopa, Scoopa, Hoot, or Quadra?
That is,
Incredible.
like, I could not ask for a more perfect version of this because I legit resisted asking you for any names on the list because it's very important. I'm not going to make you roll for this because it's very important that Flute knows this is none of the fish folk. He really cared about all of the fish folk in this crew, and that he like was at some point in Flute's past he was responsible for maybe having a lot of fish folk
Yes,
care a
I
lot
res-
about
I-
him and really
I-
worship him.
I rescued them, and
god.
they kind of tagged along for our adventures. Yeah.
And this is
Some died.
not any. You remember all of them because they're burned into your memory, and this is none of them.
Whoa.
This is a new fish folk to you.
This is a new anti.
It's a
Windrider.
poser. You have a
This is
cosplayer.
It's amazing.
And I will ask you, Flute. When you see this, are you trying to hide yourself?
No, I think I'm pretty stunned. I'm probably like looking really close, like, is this like which of these? Because there was a lot of them, and some of them died on the adventure, and I'm definitely kind of like looking for like identifying spots and stuff. I think I'm too busy trying to identify this fish folk to even think about hiding. I'm probably very gobsmacked, like taking it in.
Cool. Then I'm gonna roll a perception check with advantage. I got a natural 20. And you see this fish folk look at you, and you all make direct eye contact. One eye to one eye.
To one eye.
Which is tough to do because fish's eyes are.
Yeah, you gotta catch him just right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real like, it's a real like turn. And it's like it's a side eye in a way that's not like our version of side eye. It's like a true side eye to you, and you can see this. I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but it's like you're a comedian coming off of stage, and you can tell someone's a huge fan of yours.
Fans? No, I'm not. But
Never heard of it.
describe it to me in detail, please,
And-
so I can slowly curiously.
He's holding onto the mast at this point, and you just see him look down and like walk solemnly scale down the mast of this small broken ship. And he's the last one to walk off the ship. And as he walks forward, he gets down on his knees. And you are maybe 100 feet away. You are in this like perch on the wall as this like broken ship has fallen on this, and everybody's walked through. And you just hear him go, "I am not worthy to meet the sinker, yet I have! What is this beauty that the god has given me to be here?" And he like kind of like looks at you just like, "Thank you. Praise you."
I've never been punished by a DM more in my
And power to you and me. He says, "May I approach the realm of the sinker?" And he like gestures around.
I just like put my head in my hands, just remembering having all this fish folk tagging along. I just will sort of like rub my face in my hands. I'll be like,
Yes, you may approach, friend. What's your name, friend? I don't believe we've met.
Before you even, as you call that down, he goes, "Our journey was worth it, friends." And he goes, and then he like kind of like realizes he interrupted you and corrects himself, and he's like, "I am, well, some called me the captain of the ringer." And he
See,
just
it's
turns
an
around
easy
and goes,
mistake to make, Kai.
Very good. Very good.
And he goes,
Oh, I
"Some
see.
called me. My parents, my closest friends call me Bub Lub Shub Tub Grub."
One sec, I need to write that down. I'll take out my quill.
Bub Lub
That's
Shub Tub
probably-
Lub.
I think that the first
you
part's
can just
probably enough.
Yeah,
All right.
It's not the same as
you
said
can just
the
write
first
down
time.
Bub for that. Even my friends on the schoolyard would
Changes.
call me Bub. But those who
schoolyard,
truly
get it?
res-
Fish folk? Come on, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I love it. Alright, sorry.
He says, "But those who truly respect me, those who believe in me and my cause, call me the Breeze Traveler." And he like holds his sword up in the air.
The breeze traveler.
Well, that does have a ring to it, I suppose.
Did you say he's the blues traveler?
Yeah,
He did.
he has a bandolier of
He
harmonica.
did.
He's got the hat.
Look at this little disco biscuit.
Yeah, I think I am like simultaneously like instantly exhausted by him, but also like pretty stoked because this is the first time Windrider has ever seen anyone.
I mean,
the fish folk were very like
for
fawning of him because they were like superstitiously believed that he was like a deity to them, but they didn't dress up like him. They didn't
poser.
Emulate him.
And
The poser has
furthermore-
become the
he has an
posee.
eye patch. He has an eye patch that is
The
over one of his
post.
working eyes. That is a gem to emulate your eye. Yeah.
Yeah, is he
I mean, it's
doing
pretty-
like? Is he doing like functional spells and shit? I mean,
He,
I don't know,
he
this is-
saved all these people.
this is a pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, in the illustration he had
Fish
like a
folk.
magic sword. Does he seem to have a magic sword now?
Oh, let's have Moonboy and Flute do an Arcana check then. And
sure.
you know,
Also, point of
we'll wait for
parliamentary
Kai.
procedure.
What's that?
Just to. Normally, I have an Ioun stone for an eye that I have tuned to. However, I have turned off the attunement to it, and now it's just like a chonky rock in my eye, because I have attuned to my staff of power instead.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. I didn't want to call it out, Case, but I really appreciate you putting on the stream the two art images right next to each other. It's very, very good.
Well, I chuffed it. I got a 7. I got a 7 on my Arcana.
I got a 12.
Flute, you are very sure that this dude is just a guy with a sword, and you're like, they're like, as much as you are flattered by it, they're like, there's a piece of you that's like, who's flying this ship? Is this kid gonna be okay? You know, like after this, Moonboy, you as well. You're like, as much as you respect him, you're like, this kid's in trouble. He's like out of his depths.
Though I do.
Hey,
like
there it is,
the
another one.
look. Yeah, we're really the fish puns are just flowing out of us at this point.
He's a real fish out of water.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to.
He seems a little thirsty.
Kai, you can also do an Arcana check here.
All right.
From where Klik is standing over on one side of the thing, she jumps all the way to where she knows Flute is standing, and she like eyes on Flute, goes, Flute, there's a widower. Why is there a fish dressed like you?
I have no idea. I can only imagine that the fish folk that we sent home must have told this poor fish folk stories. I don't know.
I'm kind of whispering this. I'm not saying it.
Yeah.
30.
She sort of tosses it aside. Just weird. There's a widower here. You remember Felix?
Where?
God, I love that you, Rachel, as a player, won't let me Trojan horse these two very important plot points.
I'll
Absolutely
definitely be
not.
more concerned about that. I think of the fish folk, especially a lone fish folk, as being pretty harmless, since I saw that the kind of the secret of their power is when they're in a group manifesting their belief into cool things. So, this guy is an oddity. I'm definitely interested in wherever this widower is.
Klik definitely
just to be.
she ranks things in hierarchy of most dangerous to least dangerous, and this is so far the most least dangerous. This is the lowest possible threat level that she can possibly.
Yeah, I'll
like,
kind
Right,
of
like
let.
even past Aldous, your ally, who was like
Yeah.
your friend, it's like
Yeah,
lower
no.
than that.
He's
less
still like hovering
dangerous.
around. I don't
Yeah.
even see him. I'm
Something's
I'm
wrong
like
with
looking
Aldous.
around.
Looks like me.
Why is there a
Where?
fish that looks like
Where
you?
is he?
Come on, there's a pirate. She turns on her feet and walks a little bit too quickly for Flute.
I'll follow,
back toward the widower.
I'll hurry with Klik. Sorry, I interrupted Kai's 30 Arcana check.
Yeah, let's just be clear. This is a 30, right?
3-0.
Okay. Cool.
Arcanes.
So,
How do you even do that?
Arcanes.
Arcane.
Someone explain that joke.
I'm not explaining the joke. You have to watch. You have to go back and watch past episodes of the show.
300 hours of Dungeons.
It's too dense. It's simply too dense.
Yeah. So Arcanes. God damn it. So Kai, with and I will say to the viewers, to the listeners, I'm a DM who believes in I'm a big believer in the fact that there's a difference between a 19 and a 20 on a roll, even if it's a skill check and it's like a dirty 19 and dirty 20. I'm also a big believer that there's a difference between a 20 and a 25, and I'm an even bigger believer in the fact that there's a difference between a 25 and a 30, because it's so fucking mechanically difficult to roll a 30, and so when you build your whole character around having a skill that you just get to know about, and then you roll well for it, you just get to know all of the things. So I'm going to be a little candid about things, but that's not because I'm being kind, it's because the dice tell the story. So this is not about my kindness.
Don't mistake this kindness for weakness.
This won't happen a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, I'm just gonna give it to you, but I want you to phrase a little bit of the moment where K.A.I goes from being rolling shitty, like being confused, to being like locked on and knowing everything. So, like, if you could give us a little bit of description of that, like, trajectory, like the camera cut to you, I would love that.
Sure. Everybody, K.A.I has sort of had this second bout of hoping to have seen the dinger, and then everybody sort of went on with their business, but K.A.I stayed being sad about it and thought about it for a little while, and then eventually sort of realized that he's looking at this fish man, and then starts looking at his sword, and then realizes something that the DM will tell me now.
Yeah. Is that this being has magical powers. There is a purple shimmer, like a layer, this like misty hover to it, that is this sword that the fish folk is wielding is clearly a magical sword. You also know enough about how spelljammers work that if this fish folk, you're clocking the math of like, if this fish folk knew about the sinker and is from a place where the previous fish folk who knew about Flute are from, and you kind of like know enough about the distance of this world to know that it can't have just been like a fish folk that was in and around this space if it knows this much about this creature's life, it's more probable that this being is someone who is actually powering an actual Spelljammer helm to be able to move through terminal speed, to be someone from where the other fish folk are and to move here, which means it has spellcasting ability. And in order for it to have spellcasting ability, you know that it's either a wizard, a sorcerer, warlock, a druid, a couple of other cleric, blah blah blah. But like, as your brain starts to spin off inside of that, you see the sword, you see the dress up, and you're like, oh, this is a creature that worships Flute, that worships the Windrider. It has all the lore right, and I will say Aaron Urist knows. I'm gonna give you a little like meta information because you rolled an actual 30. Aaron Urist knows that this being, and I'm gonna interrupt myself to say I'm very excited about this because this is going to be a reveal
I'm so
for a
excited.
few episodes later. But again, you rolled a 30, so I'm just gonna give you the reveal now, which is that this being is a warlock to Flute. Windrider.
A warlock to a
gaining-
warlock?
Wow.
It is gaining its power because it believes in Flute.
Oh my
and
God.
Flute's power. Like,
Incredible.
I don't know what the math is in Kai's brain, but like you can translate that as like, I'm telling you, Aaron, this is the information you have, Aaron. Kai knows this. That it's like the power that you see
think-
shimmering on the sword. The power, like the fact that it was able to pilot a Spelljammer ship here and save these people through stuff, like through very dangerous situations, that like even if it was like easy for them to get here, they still made it through here. This is a fish folk that worships the Windrider and is gaining magical
My
power
Right.
from the Windrider.
I think
So
K.A.I can like read magical residues and frequencies and stuff, and he can see that like the way that Flute is getting weird warlock magic from something, this creature has that same magic going on, but reading at Flute's frequency.
Stank.
Yeah, in the same way that you're worried about Flute, you're worried about this. Fish
Yeah.
folk, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
dear.
Yeah.
Well, ride my wind. He's a real boy.
He's a breeze traveler.
Oh, real quick before I forget, Harlan, tell everyone your name idea for Windrider's ship.
I will only because Andrew messaged me the next morning after I made this joke, like late at night. I was like
I
falling
liked it
asleep and I made
so
this joke,
much.
and Andrew messaged me the next morning. He's like, I'm still laughing about the joke. Andrew has a very cool, awesome name for Flute ships. My suggestion for Andrew's ship, wait. Now I'm worried about I'm going to say it wrong because
I'll say it.
I think I think it should be called the Wind Ride.
I like that.
But
good.
Andrew did not want to go with that, so to punish him as a punitive DM, I have made a
You had to
character
go
creature
with
that
who
was
identifies as the
breath-
Breeze Traveler.
breasts.
I knew I got
That's
off too
amazing.
easy with the finale of Arc 3. I was like, woohoo, I got my own ship and everybody else got fucked. Woohoo.
Wow, that's
Wow.
what do we even is I
But just a point
Um,
of clarification for I don't even know if I can ask this because it was for Aaron. But is he a warlock to Flute or is he a warlock to the Windrider?
Ooh, that is a good question that even with a 30, I'm not going to currently answer. I will say that in the same way that you all, as good friends of this person who is both named the Flute and the Windrider, and who knows there is some other stuff going on inside of that, you know that this. I mean, I will say it's a very good question, and like the answer to that is they worship this human. You know, like they worship this person that is the person that is the like the human that is walking through the world, and like they are clearly worshiping the legend and the story of Flute and the Windrider.
Did you see?
Right.
And then Klik
got a
knows
pact
enough
with
to
the
know
idea
more
of
is
you.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see somebody on Twitter made a warlock patronage subclass for Britney Spears?
Yes,
it's
it's
called
so
it's called It's Britney Witch.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
And
I
like
did
the
not
level
see that.
10,
But now I have to
level
look
10
it up
ability is
after
called
this
Toxic.
game.
It's amazing.
This
so
guy's
good.
he's a stan.
Yeah,
He's
you're
a
a
flute
patron.
stan.
You're a patron, Windrider.
Yeah, wow.
So
Holy
yeah,
moly.
I mean, that is a thing that like both meta and in game is established. Is that
wow.
Flute is currently a patron for this character in the game.
Wow.
Incredible.
Amazing.
And I think at that moment we're gonna call it. I think that like all this
Yeah,
realization
yeah, you
happens because
gotta.
people are coming inside here,
Okay,
and
cool.
we can pick it up next time with like you have 3 folks that you obviously need to talk a lot to, plus the skull goblins and the skull cyclops know a lot too. So we can kind of pick it up next time with you all talking to them. But
You
yeah,
realize
that's-
this opens the possibility of a Windrider patron subclass.
Oh, I am working on it currently.
Yes!
As a which is funny because it's
For
the
posers.
Patreon release.
Across
Yeah.
the universe.
A poser class bard.
Yes. Poser.
So
Yeah.
good.
Poser
School of
bard.
posers.
It's,
Andrew and I are
I like
people
that it's
who
your magic is drawn from the costume, like a
Yeah.
cosplayer,
Yes.
where you're like, it's
Totally.
about the hat and the coat.
He's
It
gonna be pretty
reminds me-
frustrated when I keep shifting this glamour armor, unless he's got glamour armor as well. It's
It
gonna
does-
drive him
listen.
bananas.
Listen, the legend has already outgrown you.
Yeah.
The Windrider's bigger than all of us. It reminds me. of
Also,
like
he's
a-
clearly more heroic. He just brought an entire rowboat full
It's
of
true.
like
He's an
stragglers,
actual
and
hero.
He's
as
already
opposed to-
better.
Totally.
Yeah.
Better than
And
what?
I mean, you're a
Andrew?
hero.
Oh,
I did, like-
Oh, you did.
everyone do it.
Andrew is also someone that like I run any like mechanical thing that I'm building. Like one of the first person besides Ted is like the people I run it by is Andrew, and I've just been like I've been like there will be a point where I get to say to Andrew, all right, what do you want the flute like warlock class build to look like? But I've just been like sitting on the moment where I'm like, I can't talk to Andrew about this yet. But the thing I'm super excited about is the fact that there's a being who is like getting magical power from his belief in the
Incredible.
world, so.
There is like not to go super like super unrelatable about it, but there's a thing called chaos magic with a K, like that kind of practitioner's magic, where they basically, you can build an altar to anything that embodies the kind of thing that you're going for. So say like you're trying to pray for speed, you can build an altar to the Flash, and just have like Sonic the Hedgehog as your like praying figure,
Right.
because he's so fast and what he represents. It's more about the energy. It keeps reminding me of that, where it's like the Windrider has become this touchstone in their culture.
I mean,
that you just
amazing.
can't stop it.
You're
this part,
Sonic the
Andrew.
Hedgehog.
You're Sonic.
I truly need to shout out my friend AV, who gave me the inspiration about it, because one of my DM friends, AV, was like literally like 5 years ago pointed out to me that there's like a thing in the monster manual that Kuatoa invent gods because they believe so wholeheartedly, their cultures believe so wholeheartedly in things that when they get excited about something, it's like they're a school of fish, you know, they like all jump in and they like all move toward a direction. And my friend Avi, they were always like, this is one of the coolest creatures, this is the only creature in D&D that can invent a god. And I was like,
So cool.
like literally from the beginning of this campaign, I was like, at some point I'm gonna do this. And then all of this flute shit just like fell into my lap, and I was like,
Nice.
yeah.
I
Like,
love it.
like from the beginning of this, I was like, yeah. Like, flute's gonna be a god at some point. So to a flute, welcome to it.
The worst of the heroes. I love it.
Man, I had so much shit lined up to talk about today and forgot about all of it instantly.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Case and
go
Jason
for the
can tell you,
ride.
I sent them my notes for this session, and we got through like 10% of it. Like,
That art
was a good one.
is so good.
Well, welcome back to Arc 4.
We back.
We're crawling along. I cannot
back.
believe, but we have way more information than we're supposed to. I love that.
Hey, at least we got a little spoiler with that roll. I
So
love
good.
it.
So good.
Heck yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us for
Yeah.
the first episode of Arc 4. Oh my
So
god.
excited.
That was
Almost
so
two
fun.
billion.
Again.
Almost 2 years we've been playing this game.
Yeah,
It's insane.
wow.
It's so bananas. As we mentioned, we do have a Patreon. We have all different tiers on there, including you can play D&D in this world. Canonically, in the Better Than Heroes universe, we've got a game called Repos and Leads that takes place the second Sunday of every month. The games are super fun. We just did one this last Sunday. Speaking of incredibly high rolls, they encountered a god with a spell save DC of 32. They were really mad. They didn't like it. They didn't like it. But the games are super fun. If you want to check out our Patreon, we'd love the support. Patreon.com/betterthanheroes.
I mean, I think an important thing too about that game is that like it's in canon. Like you know, they have kind of like stumbled across a few things that are like a little extra information about this world, and then like the session you ran last week is like a lot of information about that. Like there's lots of things you can do to actually participate in this game by just playing D&D as another party who is operating in this
And-
world.
One of the players has some fun lore where he saw the Moonboy in action in a fight in one of our very earliest fights and was so impressed. He's like a Moonboy. Speaking of stands, he's like a Moonboy stan who's like really into the Moonboy and like talks about him and stuff. And it's fun to see
Oh, that's amazing.
these side
Hell
stories.
yeah. The Staniverse.
Every
Okay,
every
wait.
player in
Can
that
we
game is
do
incredible.
a one-off where we all play a fan of our character?
I love
Oh my
it.
god.
We're slowly
love
building
it.
this like squad
Like
of,
a convention in
cosplay.
Firmaregna.
Totally.
Hero
God.
Con in Firmaregna.
HeroCon. Better than HeroCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can be a player in this world. Also, it is, I can't say how legitimately huge it is for, if you're a fan of this game, if you're someone who watches every week, or if you're just a person who is like hyped about this D&D game, it literally keeps us going by the people who are currently contributing on our Patreon and on our Twitch here. So if you've got $5 a month that you can pitch in on our Patreon, or if you have an Amazon Prime subscription for other reasons, you can just you get a free sub for being an Amazon Prime member, so you can just throw that our way by doing it. So that truly keeps the lights on. It helps us pay the people who are doing a lot of hard work on this stream that aren't the people on screen, and keep the lights on. So yeah, thank you for the people who do that, and for the people who can do that for a while at least.
We love you.
We love you.
Yeah, you're the best.
We love you.
But also just tell your friends about the
We're
show.
back.
You don't have to do that to appreciate it. Just hey,
It's true. I'm so excited we're playing again, and I'm so excited to play again next week.
Me too.
Did-
It's already
Did you
time
miss
to stop
it?
playing for
I
the
miss
day,
it
and
so
I'm like,
much.
no, let's just keep
yeah.
going again.
It's like
really,
the best.
really
It makes
miss it.
Mondays great. Without this, Mondays are back to being stupid Garfield Mondays.
Oh, totally.
All right, well, get us out of here, Case. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next
Thanks,
week.
everybody.
Thank
See you
you
next
so
week.
much
I
for
keep thinking
dropping
we have like a
through,
unique
friends.
sign-off
We'll
call
see
phrase.
you
We
next
don't.
week.
We just say goodbye.
Bye.
Tell your friends about our show.
Mwah, 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 mwah.
We kiss.
Stargazer, Moonboy, Klik, the Crusher, K.A.I, Humblia, Chef, and the Windrider, Flute, Whimteaser. They're better than heroes.